Hello. We have a full moon coming tomorrow, actually, the 18th, at around 4:30 something in the afternoon here on the West Coast. So that would be around 7:30 something on the East Coast, and you can do the math for wherever else. Um, it's a lunar eclipse, which has a tendency to mean that emotions can get sort of suppressed, and as a result of that, they can become more intense because you try to compress something and then eventually it sort of explodes, one can feel a little bit pushed down with a lunar eclipse by the burdens of the world. It's not really necessary, and the good part of a lunar eclipse for anyone, for all signs, is that it gives you an opportunity. The real opportunity that it gives you is to look deeper within yourself and to really recognize it's a time to go in and really see what your emotions are, what your subconscious urges are, what's driving you in ways that are not logical, because otherwise they may come out in peculiar ways, because there's a tendency to dismiss them or deny them or push them away. It's especially important to take the time to look. It's a little bit of there's a little bit of a mixed message with this lunar eclipse, because the moon is in Aries and the sun is at the end of Libra. So there's a little bit of the Aries has that, and it's at the end of Aries in particular, you're struggling with the dynamic of wanting to just do what you want to do versus wanting to kind of build something. And with the Libra moving into Scorpio, there's that wanting it to be nice, and then also the feeling that it's a little bit, intense. So there's a little bit of a Indian summer feel to it, where there's the desire to just, kind of relax and forget. But so many things, including the lunar eclipse, are kind of pushing you to have to do, to have to do, to have to do. It has been a very difficult time for some time, and obviously it is not such a difficult time for others. And some signs may even be doing particularly well. There are some signs, like the cardinal signs, which they've been going through difficulties for so long that at this point it's kind of old news, and in many cases they've kind of moved beyond it. The worst times would have been a few years ago, and while some of these issues may be ongoing, they can deal, and that would be Aries, Cancer, Capricorn, and Libra. Libra is a little bit different. I would have to say that for Libra, this is one of the more difficult times, just because of a number of different aspects. Libra's kind of getting what did I do to get all of this? Scorpio is definitely going through a hard time. And as we move towards the new moon, which is a solar eclipse, things are really moving for Scorpios, and for anybody with a lot of Scorpio in their chart. There's a really powerful signature coming up with the next new moon in a couple of weeks. And in many ways it should be good for Scorpios, and it should bring to a resolution, but it is intense. So if you have any significant Scorpio in your chart, just be prepared. I mean, in many ways it's a good thing. Things are coming to a head, but it's going to put you through some paces. The other water signs, Cancer and Pisces, benefit from the Scorpio energy, but Pisces is also, or anybody with a lot of Pisces in their chart, Pisces, Virgo, to some extent Gemini, and certainly Sagittarius, they're probably the ones in some sense going through the most difficult time right now, because they are in particular struck with these aspects, and they've been ongoing, so they can feel just exhausted, and they don't know what to do, and they don't understand who they are, and there's an intense desire to escape. That would be true of Pisces also, and of the many ways that there are to escape through art or music, which are generally more positive, through movies, through video games, through drugs. And it can be a really difficult and exhausting time for those particular signs, or people with any of those. signs. Leo and, as I said, Aries is kind of good for the most part, unless you have a lot of other stuff in your chart that's not Aries. For the most part, Aries has been kind of flying through, kind of sliding through, you know, I don't know what everybody's talking about. This is not such a bad time. That may be true for some Geminis as well. But to some extent, right now, this full moon is a there's like something good and something bad for everyone. For those who've been going through difficult times, it may not feel like there's something good. And to you, I would urge to really look for what is good. The Greeks had two ideas of beauty. They had the Apollonian idea of beauty, which is Apollo, which is the big statue, you know, the great statement, the marble monument, art in the big sense. That's Apollo. But Aphrodite, who is the goddess of beauty, was also a goddess of art, but in a more, in the everyday way, in the ability to enjoy and see and recognize the small, the ephemeral, the crafts to some extent, but also more than craft, which would have been a different god, the everyday, ordinary beauty that doesn't have to be making a big statement, but is there for all of us. And this is the time to really see that Aphroditean beauty, see the little things, you know, the flock of birds flying up while you're waiting in traffic, or, you know, just the everyday watering the garden. Recognize sitting with your family and watching a DVD, supposing that there's no arguments going on. This is a time to appreciate the small things that really do give pleasure to your life, even in the midst of difficulties. And that's a good message for all of us, whether we're going through a grand time or a more trying time. As we move towards this next new moon in Scorpio, this is a little bit of a quiet time right now, but we are moving towards some really big stuff. And I look forward to talking to you about it soon. There's definitely a culmination coming for everyone. Usually a full moon means a culmination, and there's a kind of culmination of a period happening here. And in that sense, actually, I suppose the new moon would be a powerful beginning of a powerful new dynamic. This is kind of the last breath of the old dynamic. All right, I will talk to you very soon.